Jordan Brand has had a long history of collaborating with celebrities and stores and brands. Now, legendary sneakers have come out of those collaborations, like the two Jordan 1 Union LA collaborations, the Off-White 4s and 5s, and Off-White anything really. And one of the most successful collaborators with Jordan Brand to date has been Armand Manere. Now, Armand Manere is a brand owned by James Whitner, who also founded Social Status as well as APB Group. They have been just killing the game. They honestly don't miss much. I can't really think of a collaboration that they've missed in recent memory. Now, some people would argue the Jordan 2 Armand Manere is not the greatest. Myself, I think that's a super clean shoe. I don't have them, but I definitely would love them. The Jordan 3, don't even think about it. That's one of the best. I don't have that shoe. It's too expensive for me to go the resale market. I just can't drop like $500 or $600 on that shoe. And today, I thought I would put two of the best collaborations of Armand Manere and Jordan Brand head to head, toe to toe, against each other, see which one wins. Now, quick overview of the criteria. Usually for every shoe that I review, I give it a sole score. So there's 5 metrics. It's colorway, materials, comfort, versatility, and storytelling. For other toe-to-toe matchups, I've removed the metric storytelling because some shoes don't really have a story to tell. I don't think it's very fair to compare two shoes, one with a story to tell and one without. However, for this matchup, I'm definitely including storytelling because Armand Manere, they're just really good at it. And another metric that I include for these toe-to-toe matchups is intangibles. Intangibles is essentially when you look at a shoe, how much does the shoe make you feel like you have to have them? Just gut instinct. So I'm including that as a metric for this toe-to-toe matchup. And at the end, each shoe will get a score out of 30 and the highest score wins. Now, disclaimer, this is obviously still my opinion. It is very subjective. So I would love to know which shoe you would prefer in the comments below. Now, the Jordan 1 came out in 2021 on November 24th for $200. The Jordan 4 came out nearly a year later on November 23rd for $225. Both slightly more expensive than like a regular Jordan 1 or a regular Jordan 4, and I think it's probably deserved. This is one of those times where I'm not going to complain about a slight price increase. Armand Manere is known for more premium products, and the materials and details that's involved in these collaborations, generally just very, very well done. Now, the first metric is colorway, and how can you go wrong with either of these colorways? It features that very famous, Armand Manere famous burgundy or violet ore in the case of the Jordan 4. Very similar shades. The Jordan 4 is more of a non-traditional type of shade. It's a bit lighter. It has that more vintage or rustic feel to it. While the Jordan 1, a more traditional look, that burgundy really pops from the upper sole. Both of these come with non-white midsoles. I think if I could choose, I'd probably go with white midsoles for both these shoes. I just think white midsoles are more clean and it just looks better. I think the pre-aged or muslin or sail midsoles just kind of play it out at this point. Now, I particularly like the hints of black that you see on the Jordan 1. So on the Nike Air tag on the tongue, you can see that black as well as the swoosh and the snakeskin material. I just think that adds a really nice dimension to the shoe. And there's just something about this burgundy or shade of burgundy that just brings out the classiness and premium vibe that Armand Manere is going with. I don't know what it is about this color, but it just feels like an expensive color. It's one of those things. Very hard to choose between the two colors of the shoe, but I do have a favorite. And while I really like the color of the Jordan 4, I think it's such a unique color. Can't really go wrong with it. Something about a predominantly white sneaker, it's just hard to beat. It really is, especially when paired up with two very unique, very premium looking colors. I know the upper sole might not look white because of the material that's used, but for all intents and purposes, it is a white sneaker with hints of burgundy. I mean, come on, with that burgundy embossed Wings logo on the ankle collar. For colorway, I'm gonna have to give the Air Jordan 1 a 5 out of 5 and the Jordan 4 a 4 out of 5. The next metric is materials, and I think this is a pretty easy one. The Jordan 4 features an all nubuck upper sole, and the nubuck on this shoe is super nice. You can see the grain of that nubuck still come through. Now, nubuck is just another form of leather, and you can see that very clearly on the toe box. A lot of people did complain that their toe box looked creased upon arrival, like directly from A Ma Maniére. Mine did as well. Don't really mind that too much. I think the nubuck on the shoe is just super nice, super premium. Oof, it doesn't have that fuzzy, almost hairy type of nubuck. It's very reminiscent of synthetic nubuck, what Nike calls Durabuck. Definitely not that, and A Ma Maniére usually has very premium materials, so I really like the nubuck on this shoe. On the other hand, the upper sole of the Jordan 1 is pretty different. Now, when this shoe first came out, a lot of reviewers were saying it was cracked leather. I don't know if they meant like cracked leather as in suede, because suede is a form of leather. However, I think this is suede to have that crack aesthetic. And when I go on Nike.com, actually on international markets, I think it was like Malaysia's Nike.com, when I was doing research for this shoe, on Nike.com's description, it actually mentions that it's a suede upper sole. So I'm gonna go with suede. Feels like suede with cracked aesthetic. So not like a typical suede that you would feel on other shoes. Regardless of all that, I don't love that material. Some people have said over time, the cracked aesthetic kind of peels off, and just to the touch, I don't really love it. I'm a sucker for leather, or really nice suede, or really nice nubuck, and I just don't love the feel of this material. Now both these shoes have a kilted ankle collar and sock liner, so it also gives off that very premium and classy look. But if we're just going off the materials on the upper sole, I definitely prefer the materials on the Jordan 4. If we're comparing like more tech specs, the Jordan 1, a rubber cup sole with a Nike Air unit. Jordan 4 at least has a polyurethane midsole with a Nike Air unit on the heel, with a Nike Air unit on the forefoot. So everything considered, my preference for this premium nubuck over this cracked suede aesthetic, I'm definitely going with the Jordan 4. So for materials, I'm going to give the Jordan 1 a 4 out of 5 and the Jordan 4 a 5 out of 5. Next up is comfort, and this is a tough one because they're both not very good. I think by now you've heard of the comfort of the Jordan 4. It's pretty notorious. The tightness and snugness of this shoe, even if you don't have wide feet, I've seen a lot of people complain about how snug this toe box is and how stiff this shoe is overall. And as a wide footer myself, I went up half a size on the shoe like I do for every other Jordan 4. Still, oh my god, this is like wearing bricks. I've loosened up the laces, I've wore thinner socks, I have done everything to make this shoe more comfortable, but after like 30 minutes in them, my toes are just, they're yelling out for help. It is not a comfortable shoe. The kilted padding inside doesn't really help. In fact, I think that's what actually makes the shoe more tight and more stiff inside. The Jordan 4 was never a very comfortable shoe, but when I go up half a size as a wide footer, I can make it work. But this shoe, it just exaggerates everything. The discomfort on this shoe, in my current rotation, as much as how beautiful I think this shoe is, it's probably the worst in my current rotation. It just is what it is. Now, it's not often the comfort of a Jordan 1 can really put another shoe to shame, but that's exactly what the shoe did. This isn't a very comfortable shoe. It's a Jordan 1, a Nike Air unit on the heel, a rubber cup sole, very minimum cushioning, very close and flat to the ground. And I get it, usually for Jordan 1s, you can still wear it like a day. It's not too much to complain about, but compared to like modern day shoes, it's definitely not the most comfortable. But compared to these bricks, this is like a godsend. I can actually wear this shoe without feeling it. You know what I mean? I don't actually feel tight and sore around my feet. So for comfort, I'm going to give the Jordan 1 a 2 out of 5. And for the Jordan 4, a 1 out of 5. The lowest score that it deserves. The next metric is versatility. I think both these shoes are pretty versatile, especially with the whole premium aesthetic. It can suit very casual or formal occasions. I think they work very well with a lot of outfits. The burgundy or violet ore color might be a bit too much for some people. I don't think so. I think it's very easy to wear. Like I said, it's just a very classic, classy colorway. In terms of the silhouette, I think the Jordan 1 is just timeless. It's classic. It's one of the most versatile silhouettes that you can get. The Jordan 4, even though I think it is versatile, especially in casual occasions, I think in formal occasions, it's just not as easy to wear. It just seems more like an athletic shoe, especially with the netting and the flaps. And I have to say, this being a all violet ore upper sole, I just think it might be a bit too much for some people. Now this shoe, because predominantly it is that white base, I think it just lends itself better to more outfits. I get it. If you're a well-dressed person, you can make any shoe work. But I'm just speaking in generalizations. In general, I think in terms of versatility, this silhouette, this color blocking slightly edges out the Jordan 4. So versatility wise, I'm going to give the Jordan 1 a 5 out of 5, and for the Jordan 4, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Now the next metric is storytelling, and true to Armand Manier, storytelling for both these shoes are tremendous. Starting with the Jordan 1, you can see the tag on the tongue, slightly altered to have Armand Manier's logo, and then on the insoles, you'll see the words Airness by Armand Manier for Air Jordan. This shoe is inspired by Michael Jordan, of course. And actually on the inside of the ankle collar flaps, you'll see two messages different on each shoe. One says, learning's a gift even when pain is your teacher. The other flap says, you have to expect things of yourself before you can do them. This shoe is inspired by the adversity that the black community has had to overcome. Now on the Jordan 4, the storytelling is tremendous again. On one tongue, you'll see the Armand Manier logo in the A, and on the other tongue, you'll see the normal Jumpman. On the insoles, it's also tweaked, so it says, inspired by street culture, fashion, and the greatest athlete in history. And it's got Michael Jordan's signature inside. Now on the inside of the flap on the booty of the shoe, it says, it's not about the shoes, ... And on the other shoe, it says, it's about where you're going. Not to mention, both these shoes come with little hang tags for the shoes. I love these memorabilia that I can collect. I never wear it with the shoe, not that type of person, but love collecting them. I mean, come on, I'm a sucker for storytelling on shoes. I love little details, little adjustments, especially with collaborations or special releases. So you can probably tell where this is going. For storytelling, both the shoes are getting a 5 out of 5. Now the last metric is intangibles. Now this metric is essentially my gut instinct. When I first look at these shoes, how much do I crave the shoe? How much does it speak to me? How much does it appeal to me? Without trying to think about it too much, without thinking about the price. So overall, first instinct, first impression, what do I think about this shoe? And boy, and whew, on first look, both these shoes get me very, very excited. Very excited. Like I said, the burgundy and the violet ore, these colors are just something about them. They just look so nice. They're so classy, so premium. Just instinctually, I just knew I had to get these shoes. And I know a ton of people felt the same way. Both these shoes pretty much instantly sold out. Not many shoes make me go, I will pay whatever I can afford to get my hands on a pair of them. And honestly, when I saw these, both of them made me feel that way. So for intangibles, again, just like storytelling, I'm gonna have to give these shoes both a 5 out of 5. Like seriously, how can someone look at these shoes and just not fall in love? It's like when I first saw Gal Gadot. So that brings the total score for the Jordan 1 to a 26 out of 30, and the total score for the Jordan 4 to 24 out of 30. So the winner is the Jordan 1 Armand Manier by 2 points. Honestly, on any given day, give me any of these shoes, and I'm a super, super satisfied and happy man. Can't go wrong. Looking back at all the Armand Manier collaborations to date, there's honestly not a single one that I dislike, and the best is still yet to come. Later this year, 2 pairs of the Armand Manier Jordan 5s are coming out. Jordan 5 is my favorite silhouette, so again, I'm going to do everything I can to get my hands on those shoes, and whew, I'm looking forward to that day. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Soul Inclined. Let me know what shoe you would choose, the Jordan 1 or the Jordan 4 Armand Manier. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.